Oh. Oh. Thank you, everyone, for joining this evening for a workshop on learning from some wonderful speakers we have from the Vanprastha community. So just to share a little what Vanprastha means, it is the third stage or ashram of the human life cycle that we have. And in this case, we have five lovely speakers from our community who will be sharing some of the lessons that they have learned over the years and how we can learn and grow over time based on the experiences that they've seen. So with that, I would just like to start off, and we will have Sonia Ji give a short introduction on herself, and we will listen to all the speakers.
Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining this evening. My name is Sonia Sridharan. I live in Niagara Falls in Canada. And we've been here for the last 6 years now. We moved from Toronto. I was born and raised in the Middle East, and we were fortunate as a family to have Puja Gurudev visit Kuwait when I was maybe 8 or 9 for the first time. And grew up with Bal Vihar, grew up with a very good structure about our culture. And I'm grateful for that for more than one reason. Over the years, when I lived in Europe, when I went to university and strayed away from the path, there was always something that anchored me in place. So no matter how far I strayed away from the path, I always knew the right thing to do. And I think Bal Vihar and Puja Gurudev and my family are responsible for that. My favorite saying, just because that's one of the questions that was mentioned, is Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu, meaning may all creatures everywhere be happy. And it's not just about being happy, it is my role in ensuring that my actions are those that provide that joy and happiness to others. I think there is the lessons learned. I am not in control. It took me a very long time to get that message to sink in, because I kept thinking in my youth that I could control things, and telling myself and others that I'm a control freak really added to that idea that I am in control. As the years have moved on and as life has happened, I recognize completely and fully that I am totally not in control. And what Puja Gurudev used to say about do your best and leave the rest, that also makes a lot of sense, because it doesn't mean that you're complacent and you don't do, you do, but you also know that there is a hand on your head guiding you through life. Here you go.
Hari Om. Thanks for everyone for joining and giving us the opportunity to share our experiences. My name is Mayank Patel, and I am from Niagara Falls, Canada. I born in like rural to semi-urban village of Gujarat state in Western India, and raised in a united family. That's back there. It's called Hindu United Family. In a environment like in our town was like a laid back, kind of a. I have seen compared to where I am today. I could say it was like a Vedic culture back then. I have measured with physics, but never worked in that field, and have not have any major career. Keep changing my trades. Like I work in paramedical, in finance and accounting, IT and manufacturing. and finally retired as a self-employed, having a business. I have two boys. One is a CPA and one is actuary. My main hobby is traveling since before many years. Have traveled like 30 states in United States, 12 in India, and 5 provinces in Canada. I visited many of our Chinmaya Mission ashrams in India. Stayed also in Sidhbari and Kanpur and Prayagraj Chinmaya Mission ashram, also in Delhi too. My motto or sloka that keep leading life is Udyamena hi siddhanti karyani na manorathaihi nahi suptasya simhasya pravisanti mukhe murgaha. Like one can only achieve success by working hard and dedication continuously. Like deer do not enter in the mouth of a sleeping lion. And favorite learned lesson, like time and body are yours only, you born with. Use them wisely for transactional world and spiritual world, spiritual practice, because these two are mostly taken for granted for most of the people. And there are many things for that, but I'll stop here. Hari Om.
Hari Om. My name is Jaggi Jagannathan. Jaggi is really a nickname. In South India, you always pick your own name as a real name. So nobody wants to call me Vasudevan Jagannathan. Vasudevan is my dad. So I turned my name into Jaggi. It was a long time. I was born actually in Kerala, but I grew up in Chennai and went to school in Chennai. Did my electrical engineering in IIT Madras, worked for a year in Bombay, and then did my PhD in Vanderbilt and got my PhD in 81, and I got married in 81. And I now have 2 sons and 3 grandsons. So from 78 onwards, I've been in the US. And I started a company, and that company was focused on healthcare, and that got acquired by, it was a small company. It got acquired by a bigger fish, and that got acquired by another bigger fish. And finally, it was swallowed by 3M, which is, everybody knows what 3M is. And then the big fish spit out a small fish. So we became a healthcare company about a month ago. So I'm back being in a relatively small fish with only about 22,000 employees. That's a lot more employees than me. I work in the field of AI applied to healthcare. And Vivekji keeps saying I need to retire and start doing some real Vanaprastha stuff. But I enjoy my work, and I also have responsibilities towards taking care of a 94-year-old and a mother-in-law, and my mother is in India, so my mother-in-law is here. You asked about some sayings. I used to be fairly stressed out considering I started my own company, and I also used to drink pretty heavy, hard. And about 10 years ago, I had a stroke, and luckily I got through without any problems. And I saw it as a sign from God, hey, you need to change your ways. And I came from a very religious family. My upbringing was fairly religious, though I wasn't all that religious. But after the stroke, I truly became spiritual. I wouldn't really call myself religious. You asked what are the 2 slokas which motivates me. There are actually 2. One is Shanti Mantra, and the first speaker talked about Shanti Mantra, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. I find that totally uplifting that you want to pay for the entire humanity. And the other is Bhagavad Gita has been, I've read Bhagavad Gita multiple times, but then Vivekji got me involved with this Chinmaya Mission course. And that's when I truly read it. And this one sloka which really resonates with me is this karmanye eva upaskarike. Basically, your duty is your responsibility to just do what is your duty, but not for the results of the action, and leave the results of the action to the Lord. And that it was actually one of the things which really changed the whole outlook for me. And I've taken all the different teachings from Vivekji and other people, and I have customized 5 pillars of action for myself. Meditate, do your duties, always focus on things. Make sure you take care of your health in terms of fitness and what you eat. And the last but not the least, leave everything to God and leave the ego at the front of the house, and don't take it to heart. Thank you.
Hari Om, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. It's nice to see so many familiar faces. I introduced myself by saying I am a second generation Chinmaya Mission seeker. As I grew up in across cities in Bharat. My parents met Swami Chinmayananda just the year they were married in 1960, as he had come to Palghat to give one of the lectures right in front of my father's house. And since then, they started their journey of in Chinmaya Mission. And I remember listening to BMI chart as a young elementary school kid. We moved around in India. My father was an army officer. And so I learned, the virtue of discipline and integrity from him. And my mother, as the homemaker, I learned, devotion and endurance from her. She lives with us here now. My father passed away 2 years ago. Today's Father's Day. I remember him every day, but especially today, I was going back and thinking of some of the things he mentioned. I came here to the US in 2000. I was in IBM India. I was sent on an international assignment, and I never went back. So I have a 35-year career across data and analytics, mainly in global roles. I'm married to Charles Hill. We live in Stanford. We have 2 kids, both teenagers. I continued my tradition of seva, sadhana, and satsang here at Chinmaya Mission in Connecticut. We have 2 centers, one in Stanford, where I live, and another one an hour north of us in Orange, where there's a Devi temple. In my profession, I lead transformation of business with data and insights, and I approach my work with, as a strategist and a change agent, with big picture thinking, connecting the dots, and storytelling. And I find that those skills are both in my professional and spiritual journey very much the same. The quote I like is that I resonate with me and remind myself is Gurudev's quote, "Don't put the keys of happiness in another's pocket." It's a very good reminder to, what you can control, what you cannot, and how you can do your best, as Sonia also said. My favorite shloka is, if you've all seen Upanishad Ganga, it's at the starting of it's from Ishavasya Upanishad. Hiranmayena patrena satyastape hitam mukham Tatvam Pushan Apavrano Satya Dharmaya Drishtaye, which means the face of truth is covered by a golden lid. Remove, O sun, that covering for me, the practitioner of truth, so that I may behold it. My favorite lesson is that, at the end of the day, we only take our karmas and our samskaras, our impressions with us. No one comes with us, nothing we can take with us. So if we remember that every interaction and every moment that we express ourselves, we'll be our best, because we show up as our actions and our words and our how we respond to the world around us. So that's all we can take with us. So be cautious, be vigilant. Hari Om.
Hari Om. It's indeed a pleasure to be asked to say something tonight. I have lived my life enjoying being a Sanatanist. I grew up, first of all, my name is Lakshmi Baburam, as you can see. I'm married, I have 4 daughters, and I'm from Guyana. We are from indentured parents. I have 1 brother, and he lives away from us also. I've traveled sometimes to the US, Canada, and to the Caribbean countries. I've been blessed with a mother who, at a very young age, she ensured that I learned some amount of Hindi. And the guy was very old, so I just barely learned some Hindi alphabet. Throughout my life, I have been in business, managing my mother's home run business, which was a grocery store, and then established one on my own. My daughters are all professionals. They're not living in Guyana, they're away from there. My life's greatest asset was when I met my guru, now called Swami Kaivalyananda of the Chinmaya Mission, who was inspired the best in me. Before that, I used to attend Mandir and give my whole attention there. And this has also played a major role in my life, where I learned about karma yoga and devotion. This need to be with Bhagwan and his Leela has made a place for me that I can aspire with the greatest aspirations that one day I will be able to achieve and feel that presence of the Lord more. Beautiful sloka from Bhagavad Gita has always intrigued me and has added that extra boost to myself, and it's from chapter 6, verse 5. Udharet atmana atmanam na atmana avasadhaye atma eva yatmano bandhur atma eva ripu atmanaha. Let a man be lifted by his own self. Let him not lower himself, for he himself is his friend and he himself is his enemy. I've applied this to my life, and deep down within me, I know that I've strived my best to ensure that these values not only touched myself and family, but also the community that I lived in. And I've spread the word of Hinduism in many places, in many temples, as we would have walked there, because Guruji came from India to Guyana to spread this knowledge. And coupled with that also, there's a beautiful Subhashita that has the same interpretation as this verse. It's Udhyamena hi siddhyanti karyani na manorataihi nahi suptasya simhasya pravishyanti mukhe mrigaha. So you can never achieve anything without working hard. Animals, man, everyone has to work. So find this thing in life. And one of the things that Guyana has never had was we never had training for Balvihar or anything. Whichever temple had a few classes, we would attend. Fortunately now, Swami Prakashananda from Trinidad has opened one Chinmaya Mission Center in Guyana. So now I can, mostly be proud of this, that we do have a Chinmaya Mission in Guyana now. Thank you very much. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing so openly with us tonight. We appreciate you being here with us this evening. So thank you again to Sunita ji, Mayank ji, Jaggi ji, Sunita ji, and Lakshmi ji for sharing openly and sharing your vulnerability with us this evening.
To my experience, the Vanprastha age, like most of the parents, kids are maybe like most likely be in a university or college. So most of the care is been just helping them financially. Other than that, I don't see, like to my experience so far, I have seen the kids may not need like a help other than guidance and financial support.
If I understand it right, the question is more about how should people who are in the 30s or early 40s get their parents to get off their backs. And let them take care of themselves and not interfere with their lives? I mean, at least in my context, obviously my one of my son has grandsons and he's in a different stage in life. Their responsibilities goes both ways. We are not at a stage where we are planning on going to a nursing home or anything like that. So that stage will come, and then there is a question of how they should deal with us when we reach that stage. There is a constant worry. That is the worry that I have, not to be burdensome to our kids when they are going to be actually taking care of their kids going to college and things like that. So it's not an easy question. I myself feel like a sandwich generation. We are taking care of 95-year-old people, and it's not necessarily easy when you're taking care of someone old and you're also taking care of someone who's living the throes of grahastha life, taking care of young kids. And the best advice is read Bhagavad Gita and follow it to the core. Do your duty and don't worry about anything else. Everything is temporary. So it all comes down to being grounded in Bhagavad Gita.
You know, we see them different. We think spiritual life is separate department and professional life is separate departments. But if you can say, what does that mean for you? When you say spiritual life, what does that personally mean for you? Is it, that you are studying, you're reading Bhagavad Gita every day, or you do 15 minutes of meditation every day? What does that mean for you when you say my spiritual life? And then create that as your non-negotiable and say, this is what I will do. So promise to yourself that, this is what you'll do. This is what you can commit to, because you've been given this life, this human life, to evolve spiritually. You are in a body, in a physical form, is the only time you can spiritually evolve. So make use of this opportunity. Bhagavatam says, you get this life after 84 million lives. You get a human life. So think about that for a minute. And so what does that mean to you? What is your non-negotiable? And define that and follow that. And you will see that it'll affect all your other roles that you play as an employee, as a mother, daughter, sister, whatever other roles you are playing, it'll affect the whole personality.
Many times, as elderly or vanaprastha, or even from the age of 40, even younger, what we do not understand is that the most important person in your life is yourself. And because we forget this, I think Janani was sharing that earlier, we are not too kind to our own self. We try to be kind to others. But when we think of our own self first, not putting aside the others, but find that time for spirituality. You must, it's a must that you must do it. And if you can do that every single day, as Sunita Ji was just mentioning, you can find that time. Put aside everything else, but you must find time for your own self. Life will be much more happier. So when we reach this stage of vanaprastha, we'll be able to cope with our own loneliness, apart from our children. Thank you.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hariam.